So we have another question. What adjustments in business have you made in light of the current economical and social environment we live in? So obviously COVID's been a massive down for a lot of businesses. A lot of businesses have vanished. Some have survived, some have thrived. Um, what's it been like for yourself? And what changes have you made to keep up with the current situation?
Well, as you know, it was very difficult for us because it was literally 2 weeks after lockdown that my father actually passed away. So at that time, things were very, very new. We were shut for actually 10 days. And it was only a week after we buried my dad that, these thoughts that my dad always said is, look, just be positive, get up. I can always remember that echoing in my mind. So literally it was 2 days after that we buried my dad that I started to go back into the office because there was a lot of business that was pending. And unfortunately, we too were hit because prior to lockdown, we had all the major companies who had placed massive orders with us. We had £400,000 worth of orders of goods that we had bought in, and now these companies are shut down. So there's two things we can do. We think, okay, what do we do here? Because they're not going to buy the goods off us. We've got to pay our suppliers in X amount of days. So this is when you start to persevere. You start thinking, hang on, you can't just stay stagnant with these things that we must do. So a lot of companies had actually started going online. So what I did was with all these goods that we had is I started to offer them to all these major online retailers just to keep things going and keep businesses going. And that's the model that we kind of took. And thankfully, we managed to clear a lot of our goods out to these people. We were selling it ourselves online, and luckily, when a lot of these major companies came out of the kind of lockdown closures, many of them actually honored their orders and they took on the orders and continue to place their orders. So it's trying to persevere. When things are down, you think, well, hang on, what other opportunities are there? And I know there was a shortage of PPE at the time of lockdown. So then it's not a product that we're in. So I started to import a lot of PPE, supplying into the NHS because they were having problems getting PPE. So we had to make sure the standards of the product was right. So when you do try and do different things, you've got to make sure you do it absolutely properly so you can actually get, for example, the PPE into the NHS, which were required by a certain standard. So there's many things that you can do. Even when the chips are down, you've got to think, hang on, we've got to keep on doing
Yeah,
business. There's many other ways.
it's very important to adapt to the situation around you, and I think that's something. Despite the passing of your father, and despite all the challenges you were faced with, you managed to adapt to the changing circumstances. And I think since April it's been changing regularly, and I think you've managed to keep up with the changes and change as the circumstances changed. So if anybody were to take anything away from that is, I think a lot of businesses in the first lockdown folded and panicked. And then we got a sense of relief that things are opening up again, and now we've been plunged into a second lockdown, which I think is personally I think is going to be a lot more detrimental than the first one, because in the first lockdown people were scared, petrified, but there was a lot of support from the government, and everybody was in the same boat. Then we get released into a an element of freedom, and we come back out again, and we start running our normal lives and normal days, and our businesses are picking up again, and suddenly we're plunged into another lockdown. So this lockdown, I think, is going to be a lot more detrimental, and it's very important, I think, for businesses to kind of stuck and look for the changing opportunities, because the opportunities are there, and everybody
So
that
the
I've
opportunities are
interviewed.
there. I totally agree. The opportunities are there. There's always an opportunity. I always had foreseen a second lockdown. I mean, that's something that was inevitable. I had in my mind that this is going to happen again. And I think it's about managing your money. It's about managing your products, managing how how you're spending your money, managing what products you're bringing in. Are you going to be able to sell these products? Are you going to be able to offer these to businesses? There's always an opportunity at every given time, but you've got to have a plan of action. It was very difficult to have a plan of action when the first lockdown happened because it came very unexpected. We didn't know much about COVID. We learned a lot from that lockdown, especially in business. We learned a lot from that lockdown. So really, the second one, most businesses should have had that in mind. What are we going to do if another lockdown happens? Who knows? There might be a third lockdown. So
Yes,
it's a matter of getting through this period. I mean, this for businesses is the golden period, the golden quarter of every business. You have the Black Fridays, you have the Christmas.
will
Unfortunately, we're
there
not going
be
to
a
be seeing.
Black Friday this year? Will there be a Black
Yeah,
Friday
there
this
will be
year?
there will be a Black Friday, but it's going to be an online Black Friday. I'm sure most of your viewers probably had emails, virtual shopping. Come and virtual shop with us. You know, I mean, a lot of these companies, like for example, we deal with, they're still buying for Black Friday because Black Friday has now become a major online platform. Black Friday, it's not the same as going into a shop and having to look at that. This is where we're saying you have to change ways, and we're seeing a lot of these major corporations adopting this idea of a virtual shop. So there will be a Black Friday, but unfortunately, you won't be able to go out and shop, but it's going to be online. So yes, there is always that.